Hey everyone, this is Rohan, and welcome to another episode of Rohin Dua Digital. And today I'm going to talk with one of my very good friend Amit from Melbourne. And yeah, how are you, Amit?
Good, thanks, Ryan. How are you doing, man?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks, man. Busy day for me as well. And what time is that at your end in Melbourne?
It's 6:45.
Quarter to seven. Okay,
It's
it's
dinner
probably
time.
late for you then.
It's
Hey, so Amit, I noticed like recently Chris Walker from Legit, he actually promoted one of your internal linking basically service, and you were kind of a hero over there. And so I just thought to actually grab you and talk a bit about that particular topic. And so yeah, the today topic I really want to talk to you. It's about the internal linking and how it can really help you. So yeah, I'm really gonna be excited if you can throw some knowledge bombs with the viewers of this video, so they can learn something out of it.
absolutely, man. Absolutely. That's too generous of you to call me a hero, and it was generous of Chris Walker to promote it as a premier service. But yes, so I've been working with Chris and yourself for some time now. I've learned a lot of things from both of you. So thank you for everything that you do. Your videos are fantastic.
Oh,
Absolutely
thanks
love
for
watching
that.
them. You don't miss any of them. And the recent one that you did on the 4 hour work week.
Yeah,
I don't know when I'm gonna get to that 4 hour work week. Mine's like 48 hours or 50 hours work week right now, but
yeah.
there's a lot to learn.
Yeah, I do remember I was kind of the same as well because I used to spend a lot of time on in front of the PC, so the wives were getting neglected, and then the so the wife was complaining as well. And then I started thinking about how I can really go and automate few of the things and without
Yeah,
hurling of the complete show. So and then I came across this Timothy Ferris, and then I read this 4 hour work week. So yeah, you're gonna be surprised. Always keep this book handy with me all the time. So
perfect.
whenever I get stuck with anything, I always go and refer to it, and always try to make sure I can get something out of it every single time, something new. So yeah, the whole process, this 80-20 rule, everything has changed a lot. The way I do the things, and now it's been kind of thing. We have got a lot of big managed SEO campaigns going on, but the whole show is actually running kind of on an autopilot so that we can spend more time in the marketing. So yeah, this stuff really works. So you
No,
should
absolutely, man.
try to use these kind of small principles into the thing and really gonna love it.
Yeah, no, it's fantastic.
Right.
All right,
Yeah.
back
So back
back
to
to
the
the internal
topic. So
linking.
internal linking. So just before we jump into the topic, for how long you been on Legit now?
Almost 2 years, I think, just under 2 years.
2 years. All right.
Yeah, I
So
think you referred me to Legend, if you
yeah,
remember.
yeah,
Right?
yeah. So
You
I
you
guess you
mentioned
jumped in straight away.
I
So
I
and
don't miss.
yeah, I've seen like you have been mentioned few times on Legit, so which is really great. You're doing good up there, man.
No, look, I think Ledger itself is a great platform, and
Yep,
as we both know, plus the
yep,
support from Chris and the whole team's fantastic. So, to
100%.
take that as a base, the internal linking service, I actually created that service because Chris asked me to. So he asked for he put up a post in there, can someone help with the internal linking? I was like, yeah, I can help you with it,
All
and
right.
I jumped in straight away. I created a service. I helped him with that gig, and he was pleased. He was so pleased that he made me do the whole superstar SEO internal linking after that. So he gave me
Oh,
that big
great.
project to do the whole site linking,
Yep,
and
yep,
he's seen some great results from that as well. And that's why he, I don't know if you saw the premiering video in which
yep,
he showed that as an example.
yep,
So look, I think basically internal linking is not confusing at all. People confuse it for some reason because they start using different softwares to do auto SEO. To me, auto SEO doesn't exist. There is nothing called run a software and it'll do your SEO. It'll rank you on page one. That's
exactly.
never going to happen. You
Yeah,
need to have manual intervention to make sure it makes sense to both users and Google. So
yep,
internal linking, as I explained to my team and I explain to others that I speak to, is if I'm talking to you about Chris Walker and I link Ramesh something from there, people can't get to it.
yep,
That's anchor text. That's the power of the anchor text. If I'm talking about something, I need to anchor it with that topic or semantics. I
Yep.
can't go far from that. So you must have seen people used to practice click here, go here, do
Yep.
this,
That
and
generating
action,
text.
generic anchor text, an action item, and then
Yep.
link it with a different page.
Yep.
So what I did when I initially started with internal linking, I looked at what people are doing wrong, and I
Mm-hmm.
built my case on, okay, let's see what impact it has on the overall site rankings, and then test it out, change on a couple of pages. And I'm personally, what I did was on one site, it was fantastic internal linking. It was my own testing site. I
Mm-hmm.
changed it to all click here, go now, do this, do that.
Yep.
And guess what? The result was it tanked.
Yep.
And that proves the power of contextual interlinking.
All
So
right.
every time this is the first step I do. I go in on any website, I run their internal linking from Hrefs and see what they are doing. It's very easy. It maps it out so easily for you because you're focusing on an anchor text. You can see where they all are going.
Yep.
And then that's the first step. You need to clean that up.
Yep.
You can't just go in and create new internal linking unless you've cleaned the past.
Yeah,
But
because I've seen myself as well. It's internal linking is one of the most underrated things in SEO. The people, they always feel like so confident when they are pushing in the outer backlinks, but they just simply ignore the on page sometimes. And I always feel like that no amount of the backlinks is really going to help you if your on page basics hasn't been done properly. So an internal link is also one of the very important factor in today's SEO, especially. It was always, but I guess the people, they try to get aggressive sometimes when it comes to the internal linking. So yeah, so you believe 100% that internal linking is really important for good long sustainable rankings.
Look, I can almost guarantee it. I'm an SEO. I don't use the word guarantee, but I can almost guarantee it. If you have the on page correct, if you have the technical part of your website sorted, and if you have a strong internal linking structure, you've won 60% of the SEO game already.
Yep. All right.
If not more. And then the rest, obviously, it's an ever-changing environment. Things change on a daily basis. But there's some basics that don't change. I just call them the root of the tree. You get the root right, the tree is going to be bigger. You're going to get fruits after.
Yes. All right. And so would you mind me asking how you exactly do the internal linking? So let's say there is a client who is coming to you, he touch base, and you feel like his internal link is kind of a mess and that needs a kind of a polish. So how you go about it? I don't want to get into too much because that's your technicality, that's your expertise. But as a nutshell, if I really ask you, because sometimes it's just like a 5 pages, sometimes it's kind of like an e-commerce where there are like more than 1,000 pages as well. So it depends on the products, how big the website is. So how you go about it? What is kind of, do you use any kind of tool? Do you to extract that data, or do you use some kind of like a search engine operators kind of a thing? How you go about it?
So right now I'm using Href mainly. So what I do in Href, as soon as I get a new client, I'll run that client through Href and look at all their internal backlinks. So what that shows me very clearly which page is linked with which anchor text to which page.
Okay.
And that's the relationship I want to bring. So first rule that I apply in that, because let's say, if the client is, let's say he's asked for a basic service, which is link one page to 3 pages.
Okay.
So in that service, I'm just saying, okay, tell me what's your main page and what's your main keyword. And that's what I'm going to focus on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to see what links are coming to that page, what links are going from that page.
Okay.
And just focus on that page. And if someone like Chris, who came and said, look, superstar, your baby, just fix the every bloody thing on this site. If that's, I'll go in and I'll look at duplicate anchors to start with. So when I say duplicate anchors, it's an anchor linking into 3 different pages.
Yeah, definitely. I want to talk about the anchor
From the
text
same page.
strategy.
So I'll show you some examples on that as well. Yeah.
Sure. So you reckon that is you use a tool, but the tool is more to kind of see what's actually going on right now. But
It's
the
just to extract the
strategy is
data.
something you use, your own way of doing the things, your own testing, like what strategy I need to use for this particular client to do it, because the data is really important, because without the data you can't really brainstorm the things as well, because it's kind of a nightmare to go through every single page and then document out everything. So yeah, I got your point. So all right, so you said like you go with the tool, see the data, then you plan a kind of a strategy in mind. So yeah, go for it.
Look, I think I already have the strategy in mind as soon as I have the anchor text and the page. So what I would also do is I'll look at which other keywords are ranking on that page, because I need to use semantics as well. So let's say it's plumber in Melbourne. So I'm not just going to go and crazily anchor text everything as plumber Melbourne, because that's going aggressive. That's too stupid. So I will try and find out, plumbers in Melbourne, plumbers around Melbourne, plumbers near Melbourne, wherever that keyword fits in. And then the next task is to find those keywords on the top pages. So my first task is go into Href, look at all the existing internal linking, analyze that data, and see if there is actually anything wrong with the site. It may be fantastically done, but I've seen some of the sites using Link Whisper, not defaming it.
That automated WordPress plugin, I've heard that.
Correct. So what that does is it creates a lot of generic link. That, to me, has been harmful for a lot of sites. So it may have benefited. So I'm never gonna question anyone's software. That's a great software for the person who's created, and for the person it's working. For me, it never worked.
All right.
Right. So like some people, they even cry about Hrefs pricing. I cry as well. They're just too bloody expensive, but it works for me. And we are in the industry where if it works, people will pay you money.
Exactly, sir. Because I feel the same too. I've been using Href for the past 6 years now, and that's a fantastic software. And all the data, all the improvements, functionalities they've got, it's like mind blowing. And basically, it's the SEOs. We always start with some kind of data to figure out in which direction we need to go. You know what I mean? So I completely agree with you that using some kind of like automation, we use these manual kind of techniques as well, like a Google search operator techniques and few other Python scripts we have got in our company that we do it. But I got your point that automated internal linking can actually do the harm rather than the good, because when we are doing the automated thing, they usually don't take all the kind of a stuff like a main data points in consideration. So they know like, okay, wherever they get these kind of placements in the keyword, they just need to make the links up there. So yeah, it can actually harm the things too. I completely agree with you on this.
And look, I think what I've learned from experience, right? So when you're building up a site, if you have this right SEO strategy in place from the very beginning, you'll never have to do an automated link building. Or automated internal links, because one blog will have maximum of 3 internal links, for example. On maximum, I go 3 to 4. I don't, kill it more than that on one page. But if you have that practice right from the beginning, you'll never have this issue. But it's only for the people who have missed it in the past and they are, now trying to fix a past mistake. So that's my first exercise. Look at the internal linking current one. Look at a few factors as to duplicate anchors, pages going to multiple anchors, and weak anchors going into main pages. And that's the first exercise. And clean it up, have some suggestions written on a G sheet to say, what, change this anchor to this anchor, or remove this completely, delete this completely. You'll find on that same one, you'll find some redirects anchor. So an anchor text linking into a page, and that page has been redirected to another page. To me, that's
direct change.
The juice via a different channel. Might as well go direct. So that's my second check. Is there any redirects? Are there any 404s? Because I don't want to anchor link to something that's 404.
Exactly.
If that page doesn't exist, if I don't need that anymore, I'll either remove the link or redirect that link to a better page.
Okay.
A lot of work gets done in that first stage. The second stage is look at the top pages of the site, because I don't want to go and link to any Tom, Dick, and Harry page. I don't want to go and link to about us, contact us, fill the form us kind of thing. I want to look at the pages that mean anything to the website, because that's going natural now. That's talking about, there's a blog that talks about plumbers in Melbourne. It's talking about what plumbing issues are there in Melbourne. And from there, organically, contextually links into that whole thing about, if you're looking for a plumber in Melbourne, go there.
Yep.
So
No, that's a good idea.
that's the second main thing. Look at the top pages. Look at the pages that are worthy of ranking. So,
Yep.
for example, you got 100 pages on your site, as you said, it's a big site, 100 pages,
Mhm.
but only 10 of them have any links or any traffic or any authority.
Yep.
Do I have to worry about the rest 90? Not in the intermediate future. I
Yeah.
can worry later if I have funds and time. But for now, my main 80-20 rule,
Focus.
your 80-20 rule, I
Yeah.
can focus on the 20% of the links that are going to do the best benefits and ignore the 80% noise.
Exactly right, because that way it can boost better in Google, and the client can actually see a quick ROI of the thing as well. That's pretty much what we do. Is when we get any new client on board, we usually go with the quick win keywords. I think what I always call it as a quick win strategy is, and the internal link can be applied to that too. So for example, I go to the href, I go to the organic keywords on the left hand side. So, and I put in like 5 to 20 because I know the client has just started out. So rather than working on something which is like on page 5 or page 10, it's much better that I can work on something which is between position 5 to position 20, because those are the low hanging fruits. And by doing a proper on page fixing, internal linkings, and the backlinks, I might can actually kick them up in rankings, and the client can actually see the quick boost and quick ROI, basically the return on their investment they are making with us. So this is kind of a strategy which we use. I completely agree with you. The internal linking gonna play an important part in that as well, because maybe it's a case like the page is not getting a proper internal links with a proper anchor text. So it is the kind of thing, or maybe they are going to the 404. So links are going to the 404, and that eventually gonna affect the crawl rate of those pages as well. So yeah, that's where these kind of strategy gonna be helpful too, I guess. No, that's great. Great tip.
Once I've identified the top pages, let's say I've reduced them down to 7 pages, that's where
Yes.
the manual task actually starts. Because now
Mhm.
what I have to do is I have to go through those 7 pages and find the right place where the link is either there, like the anchor text is there, where I
Yep.
can put the link, or create an opportunity to put the anchor text in that page to do the link. So what I do in the third step is, let's say I'm going through the page and I can't see the exact match anchor text. I
Mhm.
can't see a semantic or similar anchor text.
Yep.
I will try and introduce a couple of lines in that. So, you know how you do niche edits
Yes.
on a different website. I do that for internal linking as well. So in a blog, I'll try and say, you know what, after this line, I think we can put a statement. We can fit another statement, 2 or 3 lines that will organically and naturally create that anchor text that I can link back to the homepage or the
Yes.
service.
Yep. So kind of
And that
a topical relevancy you assign. So let's say there is a page B, and from page B, as I understand, you want to link it to the page A using some, but the page B is maybe it's partially related to that particular topic. So you're trying to add a kind of a paragraph before placing your anchor text so that the Google bot, when they crawl and read, they can make it a bit of relevancy signals they pass on to the actual page. So
100%.
yeah,
100%.
yeah, it's a good idea as well.
Because
And
like,
how
you know,
about the GMBs? Do you actually link out to the GMBs from your pages as well? Because I've seen a lot of people, they try to add the local elements in the pages, and it's more kind of like adding a direct driving direction kind of thing to the GMB from any close area. So is this something you try to add it to those pages as well? I know it's a little different from internal linking, but yeah, it's is this something
no,
kind
so
of strategy you go
no,
after?
I think the what I use is, if it's a local business, I
Yep.
always encourage them to embed the GMB map in their
Okay.
page, in their
Okay.
main homepage, in their location page, and in their service page. Not in the footer, because I don't prefer it in the footer. I want it to be on the main page.
All
Because
right.
if you footer, it'll go across, right? It sort of reduces the quality of the GMB map for me.
Yep.
But I prefer that. But I don't link it as an anchor text to the GBP, because to me that is a bit confusing. So if I'm using the same anchor text to send it to a different page, and then I'm using the same anchor text to send it to the GBP, For me, that's a bit confusing. So I'm
Yeah,
confused.
they're probably going to confuse the Google bot as well, that what the page is actually talking about. No, I
Exactly.
completely agree. I agree with you. And
Exactly.
so my question is, Amit, do you actually see a kind of a significant changes in the rankings as well after doing these kind of like a internal linking test, which you do it on the client website or even on your test site? So do you see these kind of changes as well? I mean, like, do you have some kind of system in place where you see, like, rather than just doing the making the changes and then just leave it to the client to go and manage the thing themselves? Is this something you try to keep a track at your end as well? Because that's something we prefer to do it in-house, so that we can keep a log and we can tell the client, and for even for our testing as well, that hey, I did this and this is what has happened. It could be like in a generic SEO I'm talking about. How about the internal linking test? You do it?
So look, my basics are very clear on this, right? In the first month, every time I get a managed SEO client, I'm
Yep.
very upfront about it. Only thing that I do in the first month is on-page optimization, surfer rewrite, and internal linking. So these are
Okay.
the this is a combination that I use. I obviously look at, GSC, look at any technical errors, if
Mhm.
speed needs to be optimized, core web vitals needs to be improved, those things, but those are not on my top priority. My top priority is, people are going to hate me for it, but fix the title, fix the
Yep.
description, fix
Yep.
the header.
On page
You know,
element. It's very
I'm
important.
I'm I am big on that. I don't care what anyone else says. I will
I'll
fix it.
tell you a funny story actually. Yesterday, I was doing a quick audit for a client, and the same thing actually happened. I was trying to look at, and the client was trying to convince me like he has got a super juicy backlink profile, everything's super good, and still he's not ranking. I said, all right, I'll try to look into it. So I started looking at the on pages. A lot of problems were in the on pages. So I said, all right, that's one thing. I've noted down everything. Then I moved on to their juicy backlink profile. I said, all right, I was literally picking it, and every single link was kind of no index. And so I said, like, see, this backlink profile is really going to help you out just to satisfy your ego that you have built a lot of backlinks. But in reality, these links are not doing much for your overall rankings, because they are actually not indexing Google. So these are kind of things which actually the clients, they ignore sometimes as well, because I understand they are running a quite a busy show at their end as well. Going into each and every kind of thing, it's really hard. And this is where I guess yourself or our agency, these kind of people actually come into the play, where we have got a set of kind of proper tools where we can see how the indexing is actually going on, if the efforts we are putting in are really going to bring any kind of like a positive impact on the rankings or not. So I guess these kind of things are very important. So when you say that you try to track these kind of things in the month one, like fixing up internal links, running the pages via Surfer, and I know you do a lot of additional, you provide those additional services on Legit as well. By the way, what's your profile on Legit?
Rank,
What rank
ranks in it.
ranks in it? So yeah, I highly recommend everyone to just go and visit ranks in it on legit.com, because that's where you can find Amit, and you can get a lot of their services as well. A lot of expertise this guy has got, definitely, for sure. So yeah, you said that like when you keep the track of the things, Amit, is that something you try to do it on the Google Sheets, or is there some kind of like a tool do you use and recommend as well?
So I do it all on a Google Sheet right now. I
Okay.
am working on a tool which can consolidate into a process, but I
Yep.
haven't found it yet because
Okay.
it's too complicated. Because I'm taking data from three different sources.
Yes.
And then the last part, which is the manual part, where I have to go in and read the blog and find the anchor. I haven't figured out how I'm gonna. I mean, I'm not reading it. I'm just Control F searching for that, exact match anchor or similar
Ex-
anchor. But it's still time consuming because I have to go through the page. I mean, it's not me doing it. I've got a team that's doing it, but that's the process. That's the SOP that we follow. Um,
Yep.
when you say tracking, right? 90% of the times I will see improvements in the very first month once these things are sorted.
Yes.
Unless the client's absolutely brand new. Even then, I will see some movements. So I'm talking about, I'm all about SEO is not gonna, it's not a one-time job or it's not a 1 month fix. But as
Exactly.
long as I can see, I've just got a recent client. I did the on-page and internal linking and everything. In first month, it went from 37 to number 9. And it's
Oh,
decent
great.
volume. It's a decent volume. It's a real estate client. He
Mm-hmm.
got 2 calls. If he converts that one guy, that's 30 grand for him,
Oh, 100%. Yes.
right? To me, he technically should have, should have me for 3 years without asking any question
Yes,
because
yes.
I've paid him
Sometimes
for that.
calculative about the things. I guess the
It's what
people, they
ROI.
underestimate SEO in total, because they feel like, oh, it's much better to go after the PPC, Google Ads, or even the Facebook ads, and they just simply ignore the SEO part, which is kind of a free traffic which gonna come to their website. So if you won't take it, your competitor is gonna take it. So but eventually someone has to take it. So that's what, because I always feel like Facebook ads, we do run a lot of Facebook ads and Google ads for our businesses as well, but I always feel like the Facebook and Google ads is kind of a very untrustworthy source of traffic, because they are only coming to your website till the time you are bringing your credit card down on the table, because the moment you're going to stop your credit card, that probably going to go to someone else, to one of
Oh,
your
yeah.
competitors. So it's very important that the clients should be working on the SEO side in parallel as well, along with the PPC. They can actually play with the budget. They can spend, like, if they feel like more ROI is coming from that one, they might can spend like 70% budget to media buying, and then 30% they should be spending to the Google ads, till the time they get a bit of a confidence that, hey, the SEO is bringing me a lot of now leads as well. I need to spend more time and more budget on that particular thing to take the things to the next level, having a proper content strategy in place. So yeah, no, it's super important, but I don't know why the clients is sometimes really ignore this part.
See, I think I've tried figuring that out as well, right? It's people looking for quick wins. And when
Yes.
everyone's looking for ROI, if there is nothing in it for me, for example, if I'm going in a meeting, I know there's nothing in the meeting for me. My
Mhm.
interest is gonna be,
Yeah,
do
it's not
we don't want
lose
to
the
be there, do
interest.
not want to be there. But if
Yes.
someone tells me you go into the meeting and you're gonna get a $10,000 client, I'm all in. I'll be
Yeah.
well dressed. I'll be in my best behavior
Human nature.
because
Yeah.
there's value that I can see. So I think what people miss out, and a lot of businessmen these days, because it probably the SEO guy is not able to explain the value generation for them.
Mhm.
So if I was speaking to this real estate client and I said, look, let's say you pay me $1,000 a month for 12 months. I'm not saying you're going to be on number one right now, right? Let's say in 12 months you're on rank one
Yep.
for these major keywords. You get one client that pays you the your commission.
Yep.
You
And
have
that's all greens.
paid all of my time,
Yeah.
plus you've made profit as well, just with one lead.
Yep. True.
For a basic client like a landscaper, and this is what I was explaining to the guy who came and did my landscaping.
Yep.
I said, look, you don't have a website. I'll create a website for you. I'll
Yep.
market it for free.
Yep.
I'll give me the commission when we get the rankings and
Yeah.
when you start doing the jobs. Because he charged me about 15 grand to
Yeah.
do my front and backyard. To me, if I get him one client in 12 months, I'm paid. I'm
Yeah.
well covered. Anything else is going to be profit.
Yeah, yeah. No, I
And
know, I know a guy, a very good friend of mine. He's SEO as well. He usually do the same kind of technique. See, whenever he has to get anything done, he usually go and talk to them. Hey, I'll do this thing, this SEO thing for you to generate more business for you, and you need to get this thing done. For example, it's a nose surgery. He's gonna say, okay, you have to get the nose surgery for myself, and then I'm gonna work on your thing for the next X amount of time to generate more leads for you. It's very rewarding sometimes. But no, I 100% got your point that it is actually very important for the people to understand, like, they need to spend the time and the money on SEO, basically, for the websites, and hiring some good expert who know actually what is going on especially in this dynamic Google algorithm time, where the things are keep on changing day by day. Google is rolling the algorithms every single day, especially during this AI thing. The whole thing has gone like upside down, and now we SEOs are working and reworking on our SOPs as well. So I know it is kind of tricky. And yeah, and one more thing, like you mentioned, was Google Sheets. It's something you use for tracking. Recently, we have started using, so you can actually go and explore a tool, and it's called SEO Crawl. And there is another tool called SEO Testing.io as well. The both the tools work in a very similar fashion. What they do is, like, you are going to make any kind of like a changes in your internal linkings, for example. So you can just mark it and annotate in the system that on this day I made these changes. And what they're really going to do is they're going to track on behalf of you using the Google Search Console impressions and everything. Obviously, you need to connect your Google Search Console along with that as well. So what they're going to do is they're going to tell you, hey, in the last 30 days was something, this many impressions you were having, and from this day onward to this next 30 days, for example, this is what the impressions you have got. So it just gives a kind of an idea like what's actually going on, in which are we going in the right direction or not. So yeah, the SEO Crawl or SEO Testing.io, it's kind of a good tool. They are good tools for the testing purpose for our SEOs, I guess.
Oh, fantastic. Thank you. Sorry, I think I must have misunderstood the question. When you said tracking, I thought you're talking about how I deliver it to the client.
Okay.
So
Oh, sorry.
I think I got confused with that. So
Nothing can beat Google Sheet when it comes to client
I capture
reporting,
all the
because
data in the
Google
cheat
Sheet
sheet and then I
is
send it to the
simple for
client.
the client to understand.
Exactly. And then I've done a little write up on how to understand each tab. So it's easier
Okay.
for the client. There's a video that I have on the back of it as well to say, you know what, go to this tab, look at this. Because if you know, when someone used to send me an Excel spreadsheet with 10 tabs, I'll be like,
Yeah. Yeah.
take it
Nice.
away. Most of the time they will say all approved, just implement it.
Yep.
Because they can't
Yep.
understand. But
Yep.
I, and this is what I've learned from you. I always make sure people understand what they're signing for. It's
Yep.
not like a home loan contract where you just say condition, terms and conditions apply, just
Yep.
sign it off. Just sign it, right? You
Yeah.
need to
Nice.
understand what's changing because eventually it's their asset. Any change in that asset, they should know. And you what brought in a great point, the SEO testing one. So, if I can track what's changed in the last month, and it can be very helpful for everyone to see,
Yeah. Yeah. I agree.
especially when you have client making the changes as well, thinking that he knows SEO, and then you have your SEO team making the changes, and you're going, "Oh, that's not my change. I didn't do it." And then you have to prove it who did it.
That's kind of a myth what I've seen in the SEO industry. Like after watching a couple of like videos on YouTube, everyone just feel themselves as a SEO pro these days, which is
True,
which is okay. I
true.
mean, like
There was
everyone's having their own ways, but it's very dynamic these days, man. So another question is like, as a part of your gig for internal linking one, is there something you do make changes on the client website as well, or is that you simply prepare a strategy and you can pass on that strategy to them so that they can use their team and get it done all by themselves? Because talking about, like, for example, a roofer, or maybe some other busy guy, kind of another business, they might don't know the technicality behind all this. They might don't know their website logins as well. Yeah, I do have seen a lot of times when the people they come to me and they say, "Oh, can you do this?" I said, "All right, can you pass on your WP login so that we can see into it?" And they say, "We don't have that. That's the company who built our website. They might be know this." I said, "Okay, so you're still in contract with them?" "No, we left them already." I said that you left them, but you didn't take any logins from them. So how do you manage these kind of situations? Is that something you try to pass on the details to them and they do everything, or is that you implement those internal linkings on their website as well?
So I have an add-on for it. So my
Okay.
basic service says, I'm just going to do the strategy. It's up to you. Because
Okay.
sometimes, you
Yep.
get caught in between whether they have approved it or not, because
Yep.
you need time for them to understand and approve before you can implement. But I've created an add-on which is at a very reasonable price, just so people are aware that they have to pay extra to get this development done. Because there's a lot of complications in some of the sites. There's different platforms. I
Oh
don't know
yeah.
if you've heard of Carrot. There's a site built on Carrot, and I've
No,
never
I
heard of it.
know
Right?
that.
It's a real estate build up, right?
All
And I'm
right.
just going. I can eat carrots, but I don't know if I can work on carrots. So you have to have the right specifications. But because I've put that as an add-on, I'm only getting like 20, $30 for doing it.
Yeah.
But if site comes like that, it's very hard for me to do it.
Exactly.
Sometimes you'll find just adding content on Shopify can be so complicated on some
Exactly.
of the
I
sites.
agree with you that it is actually because sometimes some CMS are super complicated, man. I'm like, that's durable is very complicated as well. So
Yes.
I know I can understand your pain. It is actually happen, and there is no worth of actually charging them maybe like let's say $100 extra for the thing, especially when we have to go and build our entire knowledge on YouTube, learning the resources, how to go and fix these kind of changes. In that particular case, we also, I mean, like we go and we tell the clients, hey, this is a sheet, you ask your developer and get it done, because they might understand the platform, they might can do it more quicker than us.
Exactly. And that's the main reason why I have that as an add-on,
All
because
right.
I don't need to cancel the whole order. I can just
Oh yeah.
cancel the add-on. I can just
Yeah.
cancel the add-on. Otherwise, it gets too complicated.
Yeah.
You said you're gonna do it, but you charge me this much. How much are you gonna give me back?
Yes. No, I
Touch wood,
agree.
I haven't had a situation like this where a client, complained about it, because most of the times, so I've had some difficult Shopify site that I had to do. I had to spend out of pocket, but because it's my commitment, I've committed. I'm not going to go back on it.
Yep. Yep.
I'll do it whichever way. If I have to hire an external developer to do it,
Yep.
at the end of the day, is the business. If the client's happy, he's going to come back. He's going to pay for it eventually,
Yep.
but not right now. So
So, do you take in all these fancy names these days, like a silo structuring, topic clustering, keyword clustering kind of thing is actually happening, you know? Is that something you take all these kind of things in consideration as well, and how much you update, keep yourself updated with all this? Because
I
silo structuring, yeah, the people say, "Oh, go with this particular silo." It's the old fancy names. I know it. The basics still remain the same in SEOs, but yeah, the different name and terminologies, of course, has been used.
Look, I love people. They come up with new technology and new names. The reason why they come up with new names, Ryan, and this is my feeling, because they want to show that there's something new happening.
Oh yes,
It's all silo structure, tropical cluster, whatever you want to call it. I call it just the org structure. The
yep.
org structure says the
Also,
CEO sits on the top.
yes,
Under CEO, you have two CFOs and CMOs, and then you have team under it, and blah blah blah. It's just that. It's a tree. It's a tree
keeping things
diagram.
simple actually.
Simple.
It's important to
Simple. So
keep
you have
things
a homepage.
simple rather
You
than
have
overcomplicating, because I don't know. It's might be the trend going on in the SEO industry. What I've seen in many of the conferences as well. They try to pretend a lot and without delivering much of the knowledge. So it actually makes the community more complicated about these things, and it's not a very good idea. But I always feel like it's simple to keep the things super simple and make it easy for anyone to understand. There are some guys who try to keep the things very simple for the community, but on the contrary, there are people who complicate them as well. So yeah, it's beauty to keep things simple, because the team can do it more effectively that way. Otherwise, yeah, it's
absolutely. And you think about explaining a topical cluster or a silo structure to a plumber or an electrician,
they
and
won't
they don't
understand.
they don't know what you're talking about.
Hey,
Explain it.
because they are more interested in the end goal. Man, how you gonna generate us the leads? And that's it. This is all I
Exactly.
want to know today. If we can explain it, that's great. Otherwise, I'm going.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah,
But to your point, right? Topical cluster, silo structure, org
yep,
structure, they're really important. You need to
yeah,
build them up in a way, because having an executive summary or
yes,
having a title of a book that says chapter one has got these three things, chapter two has got these three things, it's
yes,
easier for the
yes.
crawl and the user to go in and use the site.
Okay.
If
And
it's if it's linked in a way that in chapter 3 I'm talking about a tap, and in chapter 1 I'm talking about the faucets for a plumber. They're
yes,
both connected. You can't have a tap without a faucet. You can't have a
yes,
faucet without a tap.
yes,
So
yes,
you link them together and then take it to plumbers in Melbourne. It's
yes.
just
And just a very final question before you go and share the screen and show us a quick live example as well on one of your done website is like, have you seen any kind of like a negative impacts after doing some internal linking as well? Anything which, oh, you presume like everything will go in the right way, but it actually went wrong. So rather than good, it just happened to be like kind didn't work that well.
I am actually testing one right now.
Okay.
What happened was there was this particular site that I'm working on. It's a massive site. It's got a lot of pages. There are some key authority keywords that are ranking really well. And there was this keyword, which was one of their primary service, but it wasn't ranking that well. So what
Okay.
I've done is I have put that keyword into a few different pages, and I put a few keywords in this page as well, the service that wasn't ranking.
Okay.
For some reason, that page has tanked.
Yeah, it
So
happened.
it was on position 35, I think, and now it's gone to position 49.
Yep.
And I've done that in the last 2 months, but there has been a few, updates in the last 2 months itself. It's a March update, the April
Yep.
update. So I'm sort of thinking, should I wait for another month before I
Yeah.
reverse that change and see
And
what
that's
happens?
fantastic. And this
And
is
that
what
is
we call as testing. I mean, like without a testing, you can't really figure out that what can actually work really good as well. And it's always preferable, we believe, like to do this kind of testings on the test sites. This is why even in our agency we have got like a dozens of test sites as well. So we go and keep doing all these kind of testings, and then we try to record that what is actually going on, because it just gives us a different edge to see the things.
exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
no, I completely agree, man. I think it's a lot of knowledge which you have actually shared on internal linking today, and especially this anchor text thing, especially with that it's important to use the anchor text, especially let's say we are going to href, we pull out the data, we pick those anchor texts for which we want to rank further, and then use the different pages to build the internal links using that variety of that anchor text, not that just keep on using the same anchor text all the time, but rather than using a semantically related keywords to push, because it's a machine learning age, and machine, they know very well that there are plenty of ways to call this anchor text. You know what I mean? So
Absolutely.
it's a good
Absolutely.
strategy, and I think the people ignore it. I've seen a numerous time. I mean, like the projects which come to us, and people, they keep on aggressively using the same anchor text from every single page they have got, without even thinking like if that page B actually makes any sense to page A or not. Number one, and but they keep on stuffing the anchor text, and sometimes there's a funny thing which actually happened. The whole article is over there, and then in between the article they just put the space bar, and then over there they just leave the anchor text, and then link the anchor text to that. No, nothing in front of that and nothing in back, but they just leave it like an orphan baby sitting over there, and link it back. And I say,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
and that
I've
anchor
seen.
text, has nothing to do with that entire page. They're just making it all right, but at least something is coming. So it's important that someone has told us that in the old school that there is an internal link has to be built. So all we have to do is randomly pick, close the eyes, randomly pick any page and put the link in between, and do a publish and pray approach. Like we are publishing, and then we are praying that Google gonna
Into
give
Google Gods, yeah,
for this thing.
absolutely. This reminds me, right? So I was checking websites, backlinks for someone,
Yeah,
a lot of them actually,
yeah,
and you'll have blog comments, links coming from the blog comments. So
yeah,
blog is talking about how to make a table,
yeah,
and putting every sort of link in the comments. So
yeah,
they won't even go and put the effort on choosing the right blog to comment on.
yeah,
So they'll
yeah,
have commenting, oh, you need a plumber to fix a table. You need an
yeah,
electrician to fix a table.
yeah.
Or you a real estate agent to fix a table. And you'll have all those comments in there with the links. And I'm like, guys, come on. Why do you need What
At
are you
least
telling people?
At least it's still much better than putting up a plumber how to fix a table in Pornhub. Like there's a thing going on. Underneath that, in the comments, they're putting it. Okay, this is a link. A lot of people comes there. At least someone will click on my page, and I'll get a traffic over there. No matter if that traffic is going to get converted or they're coming with a different intention this time.
See, I can still relate breaking the table to Pornhub, but not
Yeah.
the plumber and the plumber to Pornhub.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Breaking the table still relates
That's
to the
that's
Pornhub.
one niche. That's one niche you can fit anything to.
Yeah, true, true, true.
But
Yeah,
jokes apart,
number
you're
doesn't make
absolutely
sense
right on that.
actually.
Yeah,
Okay, so yeah, Amit, I would really appreciate if you can just do a quick screen share. I've given you the share access as well, and yeah, sure. So how you quickly do it, or maybe any page which you have already done, or maybe some kind of a mistake you can show it the people actually do it, and how that can be fixed.
yeah, sure, Matt. Just give me 1 second. Let me share my screen. I'll show you the recent one that I've done.
Okay.
So I'm going to ignore the other things that I was talking about. You can see
Yes,
my
I
screen,
can.
right?
I can see your screen. Yes.
So, this is the first month that I did where I did the Surfer SEO, the on-page suggestion, and I'll just go straight into the interlinking suggestion, right?
Okay.
So you see one tab says link correction. This is typically just saying these are all the 404 pages we found. You've done some linking to the 404 pages, go and correct it because you can
Okay.
get better value by correcting them straight away. That's
Mm-hmm.
first thing.
Sure.
Then
Yes.
looking at, there's some need to redirect on the relevant pages. So these pages are not going to the right pages, the right anchors.
Mm-hmm.
These are all the corrections. So what I did was, as a first step, let's go from the first step. This is an extract from Href, which is for their internal linking. It gives you everything that is interlinked on the site.
Okay.
Bearing in mind, Href is a third-party tool. It's giving you their best output, but it may not be 100% accurate. So take it with a pinch of salt, specifically for the main page that you're working on. So
Yep.
if I'm working on just one page, I will take Href, but I'll manually go and check that page as well. I use tools like Check My Links. In my
Yep.
Check My Links, I can just go in and check what, because it highlights the links.
Yep.
And it can highlight the link for me. So if it's
Yep.
one or two pages, I can do it manually as well, but I will
Yep.
try and match that out. So if you can see this, for example, it says the referring page is the home page. The link URL is this one, and
It's
the
a
link
class.
is blog. So this is a menu link where the menu says blog and it's linking to the blog. Fantastic, no issues with that. And then I go deeper into the anchor text. So you
Mm-hmm.
have text-free text both, but you have anchor. For example, let's say it says Georgetown.
Mm-hmm.
There's that actual anchor on this page. It says Georgetown and it's taking Georgetown to the home page.
Okay. Yes.
From home page to the Georgetown page.
Which is not really a right page.
Like, look, even if it's the right page, well, what's Georgetown? Georgetown is a town.
It's a town. Yes.
What authority am I building for the site? What am I saying? Is it I'm saying someone to how to find 10 things to do in Georgetown? If
Oh
I have
yeah.
a blog like that, and if I send Georgetown to that blog, it makes sense. But if I'm sending how to buy a house in Georgetown
Yep.
by just the anchor Georgetown, that doesn't
Yep.
make sense to me.
Yeah.
So I'll go
Yeah.
ahead and question
That
that.
could actually make a much better anchor text if they try to say like the tips to find, or maybe find a house in Georgetown. Yeah.
Exactly. Or Georgetown housing, or
Topically and
Georgetown housing market. If nothing else, Georgetown housing market, or
yeah.
something trending in the housing market in Georgetown.
Yes. 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 Now completely agree.
Something like that. So you see this link come up. So I'll quickly run through it because for this site, I'm only working on one page. So I'll just focus on that one page and see what links are coming and going from that page.
Yes.
And that's the home page. And then I will just make the suggestions. From this, first thing I get, as I said, was the link correction. Which link needs to be corrected? And in this, you can clearly, I don't know if it's still there, I have deleted it, but it shows you the link status. It shows you the URL status when you take it from Href, and that can clearly tell you 404 and 303s and 302s and all. So, once you have had that, you've got your first pass clear, which is what do you need to correct on the existing one?
Yes.
And again, because this is a managed SEO client, I'm going to do all of that. But
Yep.
before I do anything, I get the clients to see it,
Approve.
ask questions, approve it, and then I go ahead and change it.
Yep. Yep.
The
So
next steps.
how the page gonna look like in that case, or what kind of common mistakes you have seen on the pages people do?
So as I said, first one was 404. So there are links that are going to 404 pages. Go and
Yep.
correct them. You will
Yep.
see links going into the wrong anchor text.
Yep. That's another fixes. So the first one is like people, they leave it page not found kind of thing. For example, they just leave it as it is, and that could be
You
the
can see
first thing
this.
that can be done.
You can see page not found,
Yep.
and then an anchor text is going to that page.
Yeah,
So
yeah. So yeah, it's just a waste of anchor text. And sometimes I've even seen the people, they use the anchor, some of their juicy anchor text on the Web 2.0 kind of things as well. They need to leave those kind of like a juicy anchor text on for their good backlinks. But
absolutely.
yeah, they simply use it on blog comments and that kind of things most of the time.
People
All
go
right.
crazy with the anchor text. So they have to get control of the primary anchor and secondary anchors and
Yeah,
tertiary anchor. So that's
yeah.
where you need to sort of
No,
spoof it out.
it's actually a good stuff you actually showed it, Amit. That's
So
good.
this is again, so this is just running a report from Href for top pages.
Mm-hmm.
And I usually look at the DR first. So whatever page has got the most, sorry, not DR, most links, most do follow links. Because
Mm-hmm.
where there's link, there is authority. Even if
Yep.
you have shittiest of links, it's still better than no links.
No links. Yes.
I'll take that with a pinch of salt, not the pawn links on the
Mm-hmm.
side. If you have reasonable amount of links, it can work. So I look at this, for example, I look at this and I can see, depending on my budget, depending on how much I'm charging the client, I'm going to go deeper and deeper into it. But if it's only a small paid client, I've got a gig on Legit that starts from $150 for one page SEO, which
Yep.
is chips. But in that chips as well, I'm trying to provide all of this. But
Yep.
obviously, when I'm doing all of this, I'm not going to do it to the nth level. I'm only going to do it at a
Very
top level.
time consuming as well as I can see.
Exactly.
No. Yep. All
So you
right.
can see, you can see some of the company pages. I'll ignore them, and then I'll go straight into blog pages. So
Yeah.
I'll look at the top blog pages with links, and then start going through them to
Yeah.
build those link profile. So
Yep.
here, I've picked up, let's say, 5 pages that I'm going to go deeper into to
Yep.
make sure I've got the anchor text coming in from primary anchor and secondary anchor.
Sometimes the people, they actually try to push like a multiple anchor text to the same page as well. They
I'll
simply
give you an example.
use the page and they simply put in like a multiple anchor text that way, or even 4
I
link.
give give me 2 seconds. I'll show you an example of that as well.
All right.
It wasn't there in this site, so which is good. But then
Okay.
you will see, you will see, because it's a small paid client. I've just got 4 link suggestions for them. I'm saying, you know what? These 4 pages, they've got some good authority. I know you can see about page in there, but this about page has got a lot of content on it because
Yes.
this client wanted it and is
Yep.
actually ranking.
Yep.
It's ranking the brand name.
Yep.
Sorry, the client's name. So
Yep.
I'll say, you know what? Go in that and plug these in.
Use
And
these anchor text and link back to these pages you're saying.
Yep. And you know how I was saying, if the anchor text doesn't exist, I suggest to write a line.
Right.
To
Line.
that anchor text.
So you're saying, as a quick recap, if I try to do it, so you go and ask the client to do all those 404 fixes where the anchor texts are, internal linkings are actually going to the 404 pages or even to the redirect chains as well. So page 1 is going to page 2, but the page 2 is redirecting to page 3 as well. I know Screaming Frog, they actually show us all this redirect chains too. So that's something you do it. And then once those stuff is actually fixed up, then you say like the next thing is to go and check it out. What are the pages on client website which has got some kind of like a links coming in, has got an authority as well in the form of DR. So you go and pick it out those those pages, and then from those pages get an internal link to the client's main pages, which they want to get it ranked using the anchor text, which is like the anchor text which you have found out. And then if those anchor texts does not exist, for example, then you go and it's better to craft a kind of a paragraph or something to make it relevant to the main page. Is that what you mean?
Spot on, spot on. So I'll
Okay.
give you an example. What I again, to make it easier for the client, I put this as a hyperlink. So you can hyperlink the actual anchor text. So if the client follows that link, they'll end up at the exact same section where I
Yeah.
want them to interlink. So, in this case, it says we buy
Okay.
houses pre-foreclosure. I'm
Yep.
saying, you know what? Let's just put Austin in there because that's my anchor, and
Okay.
I want to have the exact anchor in there.
Okay. Yes. Yes.
So
Yes.
my suggestion was put Austin in there, and it sounds natural. We buy houses in Austin for pre-closure. The
Yes.
statement now
Yes.
says we buy
Make it
houses in
more
Austin for
relevant.
pre-closure.
Yeah, to make it more relevant.
Exactly.
So Google bot, when they crawl and they can see, okay, this anchor text make 100% sense and it's grammatically written well as well.
Exactly. So that's the final
So
stage of it.
now it's a good stuff. It's actually the report is very worth. I guess for every single dollar they are actually paying, they're getting a lot of link juice. They're getting a lot of value out of this report itself. If they go and make the fixes, I think that can move the needle. Ah,
Exactly. Can you just
that's
see that Excel? Can you see the Excel, or can you see any other part of my
I
screen?
can see the page best of this page now.
Best offer. Okay, fantastic. Yeah. This is where I wanted to show you the example of same anchor
I
text
was talking about, yeah.
going into two different pages. So if I click on this goes directly to the home page. That's the authority page,
Okay.
right? That's where it
Yes.
should be going. But if I click on that, this takes me to another blog page.
Oh,
What,
Baba. Yes.
what I've done here is I've confused the hell out of Google to say, hey, which page should it be ranking? Where
Yes.
should it be going? And that is
Yes.
one thing that people need to avoid at any cost.
Yeah, and that is something which confuses Google as well. What I've seen, that when they feel like, oh, this person was thinking the link should be going to this page, but oh, there is another one going to this page. I'm kind of confused. So let him figure out first of all, and then in the next scroll, I'll try to see if the fixes has been done. Then I'll go and give him the credit for it. It's a very common
And
mistake. Sometimes they actually add 4 internal links from the same page going to the same page. I mean, like 4 links from the same page
on the
posted.
same anchor, on the same anchor.
Sometimes even the same anchor as well. Sometimes the anchors are different as well. Sometimes they try to, let's say their home page or their website, they have got like a location, different locations. They sometimes link out from that particular page to the home page, but with a different location every single time. So there's a lot of things we try to say it, but what they do weird sometimes. But yeah, these are
Absolutely.
small stuff which has to be taken in consideration for a good sustainable ranking, Amit, I guess.
Exactly. And you know what? If even if you're a low budget client and you
Yep.
have many pages on your site,
Yep.
not all of this has to be done in one day, right?
All
You
right.
can take your time, split it across 2 to 3 months. Remember, SEO is not a one-day game. It
Yep.
takes time to it takes time to build that foundation. But
Yep.
once you have built the right foundation, you are there, you're in it to win it. So
Yep.
don't lose that time to set up the right foundation. Don't rush into things to just do the magic. There is no magic.
No, I agree, man. I agree. No, Amit, thanks for spilling out all the beans, man. Thanks for providing all this information. Definitely, I learned a lot of new things as well. I'm probably gonna share this
Truly my
stuff
pleasure, mate.
with my
Truly my
team too. But yeah, it was really thanks for sharing the wisdom, man. I appreciate that. And once again, thanks for coming on a call. That was really helpful. I definitely want to see
Thanks
you
for having me, man.
again for a few more topics which we can share together. I know you got a pretty good solid knowledge in SEO, so really want to share more topics with you where we can have a brainstorm, we can have a think about how the SEO things actually going, what kind of tests we can do it, and to make a difference.
Look, I'm a bit hesitant to talk in front of an expert himself, but
Oh,
I think
no.
together we can definitely
We're
throw
just
some
learning.
gold nuggets.
I guess it's all about learning from each other, man. I mean,
Absolutely.
that's all it is important. No one is really an expert, I say, except Google itself. Everyone is just doing the
Yeah,
mistake.
hang on. I
And
don't think even Google knows what they're doing, man.
exactly.
I
At
don't
some
know.
time it happens.
I
They
don't
do
think.
it weird. Yeah, nah, I
I think
guess
we're all learning.
Google, they work
So
on
is
a
machine.
mathematical calculation. So as far as we SEOs, we only feel like we know a lot better than the ordinary person, like a layman, how this Google algorithm actually work. And that's what the advantage is. And that's how we earn or make a living.
I always tell my clients that I know how to pray to Google gods. I don't
Yeah,
know SEO, but I know how to pray to Google
yeah, to pray to Google. Yeah. All right.
gods.
Thanks for that, Amit. I really appreciate your time once again, man. And have a good one. And I'll definitely see you again.